All right, we are live. Well, hey
Live.
everyone, my name's Andrew.
And I'm
Podcast
Mike.
57. This is Mike. Podcast 57, Side Hustle Heroes / Amazon Influencer Podcast. Great to be here. No, Jim Ed's not here today. He did mention a couple podcasts ago he's going to kind of ease his way out to where he's not completely out, but he'll be here and there. He'll still be. I was going to say he'll still be on the Facebook group. Mike, we know that's a lie.
That is a lie. He is
That
a
is a
ghost.
freaking lie. But no, we love Jim Ed. But he'll be the first to admit to you that he's not really on Facebook a lot. But does he add value? Of course he does. He adds value on this podcast, and he adds value by what else does he do? He does stuff. Yeah, he does Amazon influencer videos. Yeah, we've learned a lot from him. He's made a lot of money from that, and as a result of that, he shares experience, which is the most valuable thing that he does. So yeah, so we're here today. What are we going to talk about, Mike? I got some stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm asking you it's a rhetorical question, but you don't have to answer.
The rhetorical question. So listen, now we've got, I think we got a good little lineup. It shouldn't be too long of a podcast today. So I know you were wanting to kind of talk about the mobile, and it seems like everything's being suppressed on there a little bit still. So we'll get into that a little bit. Go ahead and do our numbers over the last month or so. And then I'll kind of want to dive into YouTube. I want to go a little further into multiple income streams. So let's see if we get this thing rolling.
All right, right on. So yeah, I want you to do your numbers first, Mike, and then I'll give you my very poor attempt at Amazon influencer revenue.
Poor attempt. You're gonna have to up your game, buddy. That's all I got to say.
I'm trying, dude. I mean, goodness, I'm up 26 videos from last week, and doesn't seem to be cutting it. Still, I'm almost 400 videos, man.
We'll get you there. We're gonna figure this out. So,
all right,
buddy. So diving into the numbers. All right. So today I woke up to $129. Last 7 days I was sitting at $723. For this month, so far, 9 days to go, I've got $2,311 so far. Last month, I was sitting at $1,992, so I'm already over last month. So numbers aren't back where I'd like to be just yet. They are kind of popping back up to where my average was for the year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw one more at you. Year to date, I am sitting at $26,368.
Okay. So pretty close to about $2,000 a month. That's the average. If you average it out, 24,000, so a little bit above that. I just thought that you're doing more than 2,000 a month, but it's still solid.
Yeah, I had a couple months there were 1,800. I think my best so far for the year is 3,800. So we'll see what Q4 brings, man. I'm pretty excited about that. I think if Amazon can quit playing with things, we should have some pretty good couple months ahead of us.
How many videos do you have up right now?
660-ish.
Okay, solid. Yeah, so you got 300 more than me. So, but yeah, your numbers are. If I doubled mine, they still would be nowhere close to yours. Although, here, let me go through my numbers. So it's been a little bit. This has been a little bit low month for me lately. This has been a low month for me, lower than last month. It looks like. So yesterday, $18. Last 7, $134. Last 30, $678. This month, hang on a second. Yeah, 678 last 30, but this month so far I'm at 449, and last month 738. So just looking at the last 30, you can see it's trending down a little bit because it's below 700, but I'll probably finish up hopefully around $600. But yeah, I was hoping I was going to be like $800 or $900 this month based on adding a lot of videos, starting to get those things catching on, but that's not the case, unfortunately.
But honestly, man, I remember about 6 months ago you were saying you were $300 to $400 a month, so you're getting up there again. I mean, you're not at that $1,000 mark where you were when you first started, but I think you're trending in the right direction again. You're putting some effort in again, so I think it's going to pay off for you in Q4.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I got 388 videos up now. Was 362 2 weeks ago. So continue to put videos up. And when you have a little bit of pressure too, the suppliers they always say, "Did you receive this product yet?" And I know when they're saying that means, "Where's my video?" Right? That's usually, I don't know how often you get that. It's like, "Yes, I received it. I will get this uploaded." But we were just talking about this before the podcast started. The thing that's becoming, and my buddy JB and I, we've been doing a lot of reviews together. He comes over, he, holds the camera for me and vice versa. Man, and sometimes he'll review some of my products and vice versa, which is really good. But sometimes there's these things like, okay, what's this button now? And how do I can't get it to work? And after you actually figure it out, it's like, oh, that's easy. And that's actually a good lesson. That's actually a good thing you can do with these videos when you can figure something out. You can say, hey, this is where the SD card goes right now. It goes in this slot. I thought it was this slot, but it goes right here. So you can help people because I've done this sometimes also. I'm trying to figure out how the freak something works. I actually watch the video after the fact sometimes, after I've purchased the product. And I think if somebody's going to buy the product, they're kind of going to remember, this guy was really good at showing the different functionality of this. These directions are horrible. No offense to the people the manufacturers, but sometimes they're really bad. But if they actually go back to the video again, say, "Hey, I remember Andrew. He's the guy who got me to buy it in the first place. Let me watch his video again." There he is. You can help them. So that, but again, we're not here for yes, we're making some money, but spending an hour trying to figure out a product for maybe a couple dollars commission is not a good
Yep.
not a good idea.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. And
that's I
that's,
kind of learned my lesson on that, and it gets to a certain point where like, okay, let's move on. Let's just figure out, hey, I plugged this thing in, it's not working. Let me try the, because usually you have three op. Anyway, I'm rambling here, but usually you have, whenever we're using products, show the way to plug it in. You can do it that way, or show how to do it with Bluetooth, or show how to do this or with USB. Usually you can get it to work one way. You might say, look, I tried the other ways, couldn't get it to work. Or you simply just show this way, explain how you do the other ways, and tell the person that I could not get it to work this other way. Just good information to send on to the supplier. So I don't believe in doing bad reviews saying this didn't work unless I'm 100% sure it's not me. Because it could just be me. I'm just doing something wrong, which is very possible.
yeah, and that's absolutely correct. It's
Yeah.
something I'm gonna tag on that a little bit, a little different than what you said too, though. A lot of you guys I've seen in the group, especially, you're starting to talk about how many suppliers you're starting to work with. I think there's one gentleman, I can't remember at the moment who it was, said he was, I think, pushing 30 items is what he had coming here recently. He's
Yeah.
on his way. So obviously, if you're getting into these, you've noticed that some of these guys have different stipulations or things or criteria they're wanting you to hit on. It might be a good idea to make a spreadsheet or something of all those items if you're not doing so already. But you might jot down the notes as to what it is each one of them wanted you to do, so you have a cheat sheet to go back to. Because if they're wanting you, a couple of my items, for example, they're wanting me to film outdoors.
Yeah.
If I go in here and I'm sitting at my workbench like I always do when I do all my videos, and I forgot that I need to be outdoors for that, I've actually had to go through and redo one video because they did ask. I mean, I agreed that I would do it that way, so I had to go back, and I actually ended up filming both videos because I just filmed them from different perspectives, and I got 2 of those videos listed on that listing now. But just keep that in mind. These guys are expecting certain things. Sometimes a lot of them give you free reign to do what you want to do, but make sure you're hitting on those points they want, because that's led by doing a good job. It leads to them offering you more products. And I've got several, especially through creator connections now, I've got several different people that I'm working with that are coming back to me, even though I reached out to them the first time. So make sure we're doing what they're asking and within reason. And you should be in good shape.
That's a good point. And here's something that I'm doing. I'm curious how you're doing this. This has helped me a lot. In fact, when I don't do this certain thing, it leads to a lot of searching around trying to figure out where this product came from. So here's what I do usually. I'll get the product. They'll say, "Hey, you interested in doing this?" I'll list it. I'll click through it. First of all, I'll say, "Yes, I want this. I want this product." Great. Then after I know I've gotten it, even if I'm not even sure I have it yet, because sometimes I come and say, "Sorry, it's not available." It's fine. I'll click through it, add it to my wish list, and now it's there, and now I can refer to that later on, which is huge. In fact, usually when I'm going through and uploading my videos, I'll go to the wish list, find the video, and then click on it. That way, my browsing history, will be up the very top. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yep.
So that way, it's right there. Go to my browsing history, boom. So I do that for everything now, and then usually I'll get some of them send the instructions after you've gotten it for sure. Some of them send it up front. Then I'll copy and paste that in Evernote. I've got Evernote. It works as just like Google Docs or something, but
Absolutely.
I do Evernote, copy and paste it and say the name of the product dash whoever the supplier is that gave it to me, the agent that gave it to me, with the URL of the Amazon link. So it takes a little bit of work up front, but I tell you what, it saves so much time when that product comes in. I'm like, oh yeah, there's my boots. Oh, there's my projector. Oh, there's that. And I line it up. But today I was like looking for something. I got something. I was like, I don't know where this came from. I still don't know where it came from. I know I said I wanted it, but I can't. I got 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 suppliers, and it was very frustrating. So I think there's different ways to come up with. If you have a spreadsheet, do that. But I love having that in Amazon. Like I love just having that in my wish list that I can refer to really quickly. That saves a ton of time. What kind of system are you using kind of to keep track of stuff?
I mean, honestly, that's something I need to work on. So I'm sitting here preaching to y'all, and I'm not even that great at it myself, but I'm working on it. That's something I'm actively getting better at. So I am basically just keeping, honestly, handwritten notes, or I'm using my notes app on my phone, one or the other.
So you're not using the wish list?
No, I don't. Not at the moment, anyways. My wish lists are more for things outside of what me and brands are working on together. But yeah, man, that's a great thing to look into, and I might actually try to take that from you, see if that works for me. That's a pretty good idea. But the main things, man, just staying organized, because a lot of us, it's easy to get 10 emails in a day and get excited, accept them all, and then they show up anywhere from 2 days later to 3 weeks later. And That or they don't send them at all. I don't know how many times you've had that happen to
Oh
you,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's on the way, and I'm sitting here 2 weeks later going, is it coming still? And then you don't either. Sometimes they don't respond back. Sometimes, oh yeah, it's in the mail today. It's like they forgot about you. So that's a good way to keep track of what's coming, what's going, and how long something's been sitting on your desk or your your bench. Because that's something
Right.
else too. I try to make sure I'm doing them in order, but sometimes it's just easier to knock out that one item that's easy real quick. Maybe you only got 30
Yeah.
minutes that night. And then on Saturday, when you got 3 hours, you can film that more in depth one. But if that gets away from me, that happened to me the other day. I had one of those robotic vacuums sent to me, and I sat there for 14 days. And I'm like, oh shoot, I got to get that done. And they didn't say anything to me. I got it posted and everything. And that's the thing too, is like I posted it up and then it got rejected. And little bitty barcode on there, I kept missing. It was underneath it. And finally, third try, I got that to go through, but I wasted 3 more days on top of that. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Keep track of it. House cleaning is that. I mean, just keep things organized because it's very easy to get away from you. So, and hey, good segue right here. Let's change gears a little bit. So we talked about Q4 last time I was on. It was about a month ago now, and we kind of talked about best practices, things I was going to be doing. I know Jim Egg kind of spoke last podcast about what he was kind of planned on doing, but something I did the other day, I went through all 660 of my videos that I've got up right now, and I was just kind of seeing what listings still had things that maybe have been deactivated. I found out of my 660, I found 20 different videos that were no longer linked to items. And actually, I found more than that, but 20 of them I was able to actually relink. So 0 views on those videos. And now I've got them all back on active listings. They're fresh listings, and they've got most of them had reviews. So it's like they probably did that a long time ago, and I just didn't notice.
Yeah.
But if you've got 2, 3, 4, 500 videos, or even 1,000 like Jim Ed does, you might be able to go through there and relink some of those videos and kind of revive them and not have to do anything. It's pretty easy to do. So check that out, guys.
Yeah, good idea. And just another little segue here, and we want to remind you guys, we really appreciate you guys joining our Facebook group, and we have a good active community there. Just where can you find us? At Side Hustle Heroes or Amazon Influencer. If you type in those into Facebook, you'll definitely find our group that way. And also, obviously, we'd love to get your feedback on the podcast. Let's talk about how you keeping organized with all your videos. How you keeping organized when those who are working with Chinese suppliers. How are you keeping track of everything? Are you using the Amazon wish list? Are you using spreadsheets? Are you using something else? We'd love to hear about your feedback about how we're kind of keeping organized and what you're doing as well, because we're always open for new ideas. But definitely, if you've been listening for a while, you're not really a big Facebook person, please still jump on our group, because groups are great on Facebook. We'd love it for you to be in our group and be as active as possible, because we do have a lot of things that are covered there that aren't on our podcast. So definitely check us out. And you will get kind of a free, for those especially who are new, you'll get a free Amazon influencer guide to kind of get started, and even a little bit of scaling if you give us your email address when you join our Facebook group. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, it's really neat about that is I've kind of watched that group grow over the last couple months here. We've really had an explosion. We've doubled. So I think we're pushing or knocking on the door of 500 people in that group now, which is really cool, because when I first started, obviously I was in the first 20 people or so. So it's been neat to see some of these people come through. And when we did that course, beginning of the year, a lot of these people were newbies, and now they're the ones, and they're kind of acting like veterans, and they're stepping in when me and you can't be there, and they're answering the questions. And man, that's awesome. It's really cool to see everybody grow together. So that Facebook group's huge.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's get to some of the topics. And this is real quick, but kind of just what we've been seeing. The mobile continues to be suppressed. And for you guys who are saying, what does that mean? Mobile, the carousel on mobile continues to be suppressed. I haven't looked at desktop. Desktop seems to be better, but you have to click the video little link thing to see the carousel, which is really annoying. And most people, as you know, with any sort of e-commerce 101, the more clicking required, the less sales you're going to get. So Amazon knows e-commerce. Amazon is doing this absolutely on purpose. I don't know why they're doing it on mobile, but I think they're just doing some testing. This may be permanent, who knows? But regardless, this is the new normal. I really think if they weren't doing this, we'd probably have double or even triple the sales. Honestly, I think that's a huge thing. Yeah, it's just the way it is. But again, you can complain, say, "Oh, it's so hard. It's different now." Well, it is a little different. But do you want to continue to compete and make money? Well, then just keep on getting more videos up. So I think that's something we were talking about before the group as well. Where do you want to be? We all have goals. If you're happy with a couple $100 a month, then great. But if you want to make more than that, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you might need to look beyond just AIP as a source, which is, and I'd say looking beyond, what does that mean? Creator Connections is beyond AIP proper, right? Because AIP, when we talk about this, is on site, right? So look beyond on site. And one of the things we're going to talk about here in a little bit is YouTube. So using YouTube as another traffic source to drive traffic to your UGC. Okay, you've done the UGC one time. Why not repurpose that and use that in other social media? I think what else we're going to talk about here. Yeah, so numbers have been definitely lower for me. I know you had a good month, Mike, which is good, but a lot of other people have been complaining about why is it lower. I would say my numbers are a little bit lower, but I'd say in general it's just more of the same as far as suppression. But we always have things going on that are going to be keeping our numbers a little bit lower. Yeah, so I think I've covered all things we want to talk about. Yeah, so get your stuff out there. It's like, and I think when you're thinking about what's the low hanging fruit for social media, I really think YouTube. And let's talk about this. Like, why? Yeah, I'll ask you, Mike. I have my opinions as well, but why do you think YouTube is probably one of the best places to go outside of Amazon to get the word out about your
I mean, in
products?
all honesty, if you think about it, Google owns both Amazon or Google owns itself and it owns YouTube, and those are the two biggest. Those are the two largest search engines that are out there.
Yeah,
So if and what's nice about that is, and you've noticed this too, search on Google for something, anything, and what's it showing at the very top of the search results now? YouTube videos.
yeah,
So
yeah,
putting these videos out there. So if someone's not on Amazon and you're putting these YouTube videos out there, they're getting suggested at the top of the Google search now, especially if the SEO is lining up. It takes a little while to get going on the YouTube. I've saw slow growth at first, but it's starting to climb. I'm seeing a nice little growth curve. I've been at it for about 2 months now. I mean, subscriber wise, I'm sitting at like 37. So I mean, it takes a little while to grow that up. But what's neat about that is if you stick with this in a couple of years from now, or even a year from now, just depending on who you are, you could get that subscriber count up there. The views start coming. You kind of become known on YouTube just like you would be on Amazon. And I mean, it's just a whole nother income stream that you can bring into it. And I mean, Amazon's getting searched heavily, and that's great. They're bringing all the traffic, but you can bring your own traffic, and you're doing the work once and getting paid twice. So I'm not seeing near the amount of sales on the offsite
yeah.
just yet, but I can tell you there's activity going on that other side of the house on Amazon for me right now. And I'm looking forward to Q4. Well, I guess we're in Q4 now, but I'm looking forward to November, December when this starts exploding. People start spending
Oh yeah.
money. I, I honestly think I could probably start pulling in another $1,000 a month on offsite,
Oh,
especially
nice.
if I mean, because you figure I got 660 videos up on Amazon. So basically, I'm going through and uploading a couple of those a day when I've got time.
How many
That
do
I've
you
already
have up on
done.
YouTube right now?
I think I'm just over 100. I didn't check that. I should probably have done that, but I think I'm over 100 out of the 660. Unfortunately, internet service out where I'm at's slower, so it takes me longer to upload this stuff. But yeah, my goal is to have another 100 up by before Black Friday at least. And I'm cherry picking. I'm not just going down the list and grabbing the oldest ones first. I'm grabbing all my high dollar, high value items and throwing those on YouTube first, trying to reap the
Yeah.
benefits from those.
So,
So
tactically speaking, and I think this is going to come a lot. This comes up a lot, and I would ask the same question. So they're like, okay, I want to do YouTube. Which link do I use for my YouTube video? Do I just use my AIP link, or do I use just my normal Amazon Associates link? And then what else do I? And you have a tool you use as well, which
yeah,
I'll let you talk about. So tell me
yeah.
that for the first answer. Which link do
So
you use, Mike?
Well, yes, so you definitely aren't using your on-site link. You're using so when you go to Amazon, as soon as you become part of an associates program on Amazon, up at the top there, you got that site stripe at the top, and they've changed the way that looks here recently. You used to be able to grab a picture and the link, and now it's just the link only. But at the very top, when you go to any kind of listing, you're going to see where it says "Get Link" up there on that site stripe, and it's going to generate a link for you that you could basically you can literally just copy and paste that into YouTube if you want. That's as easy as it gets. The downfall to that, though, and I think I explained this slightly about a month ago when I was on, is they can click on that link, but if they're on a mobile device, it's going to take them to Safari or it's going to take them to Edge or whatever operating system your phone runs, which means you're going to have to probably chances are log in to the Amazon app, to the Amazon website that way. Well, most of the people aren't going to go through all that. They don't remember their
Yeah,
password. They're going to go straight back to their Amazon app and go that way. Well, as soon as they do that and they search it for themselves, you just lost the cookie. You lost the sale. They're gonna buy it. You're not gonna get credit for it. So what's unique about the way I'm doing it is it's what they call deep linking, and there's multiple services. I mean, I can URL Genius is one of them. The one I'm using is Genius Link. You can kind of do your research there amongst the ones that are out there and see
how
which
much
one
is it?
works best for you. So for mine, I'm using Genius Link. It's like $6 a month. Now that's to get you started, but it goes based on how many clicks you're getting. So, and I'm nowhere near even the threshold that it amount to be able to. They'll start charging you more money basically per
Yeah,
click
sure,
once you get to a certain
sure.
amount. I can't remember what that is, but I think it's like 100,000, 150,000, something like that. But for $6 a month is what it's costing me right now. And the difference is you put your site stripe link from Amazon and you copy and paste it into your, I'm gonna use Genius Link because that's what I use. That's gonna be my example. But you copy and paste that into Genius Link now. It generates another code for you. Well, that link is the one you paste into YouTube. And what's nice
Gotcha.
about that is it's going to open up and take you straight to your Amazon app. So you're bypassing that headache or that inconvenience that the customer's going to have by opening a browser that they didn't want to open, and you're going to get the sale. But not only that, I'm able to track that now because I can see the traffic on each link that I create. So if I've got a video that's got 2,000 views on it, and I can go to that Ingenious link on my dashboard, and I can see of those 2,000 views, how many people clicked on that link. And then I can go to Amazon and I can say, okay, out of those, let's just say 100 people clicked the link. How many people of those 100 actually bought it? And that's your
Right.
conversion rate. So now you've got your impressions, you've got your conversion rate, and that's all broke down right there. So it kind of gives you an idea how well you're doing, because otherwise you're kind of shooting blind if you're just going with the regular Amazon link.
Yeah. And let me fill in a couple other details here too, because I know this is the case. So you're like, okay, you just put a link in YouTube, but we were talking about videos. You download the video, obviously, and I would say you can just download the video from AIP directly, or if you have it stored somewhere, right? So that's the first thing. You download the video and you upload that to YouTube. All right. And then that's the first thing you want to do. And then where does the link go? Well, the link goes in the description, right? You can actually draw attention to it, but I would say you want to put that link as high as possible. In fact, and there's ways to do, I don't know if you're doing this in your videos, but a little call to action at the end of your video is always good. In fact, you might have some boilerplate call to action that says, hey, to get the product here, click the link in the description. You can just do like a little trailer all the time on your YouTube video. I don't know if you do that or not, but that way.
So you're by doing so, because you can't do that on Amazon. So if you do that, you're going to have to go back and edit each video or have a separate video for YouTube. So with that being said, no, I don't personally do that. I'm basically just putting it in the description saying, link to this product. Now, keep in mind, you got to keep it's a little more, you have to disclose that it's an affiliate link and have a disclosure in so I've got that saved where it populates on every video I do automatically. So as long as you've got all the proper disclosures, and we can go over that anytime in the Facebook group if you guys have questions, but as long as you got all the proper stuff there, you're good to go. And they watch your video, they can click your link in the description, they know how to get there. Something else you can do too, you can also put that in the comments of your video, and then you can pin that comment, and that'll keep it at the top. So some of my videos have actually got 20-30 comments on them now based on the amount of views, or they're asking questions. And you get a little bit of engagement going. Well, if you put that in the comments, like I just mentioned, it's going to push your comment to the bottom based on it being the oldest comment. So if you could pin any comment you want to the top, and that just keeps it fresh and top of mind. So YouTube's where it's at, man. You can get on TikTok Shop. I think it was kind of a little hot and heavy there during the summer. I think it's still there, but I think it's lost its luster a little bit. There's so many different ways you can make money doing this, and do the work. If you can do the work once and you can actually reap the benefits 2-3 times, that's where it's at. So that's why I've been playing with YouTube so heavy.
You're using the same video pretty much that you use for AIP?
Actually, exactly the same for now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing too. So this is something else to keep in mind as well. So I know with all the free products, I've got several items that I've gotten 6 or 7 now of the same product, just from different brands. So what I'm looking at doing, I got to find time on my schedule, but I'm going to film some comparison videos on those items. They're not going to go on Amazon. I'm just going to do it for YouTube only, comparing these items and why this one might be better than this one.
Yeah.
Put all those links. So you've got all these free products. Use them while you've got them. And then if you get the videos filmed, then you can turn around and sell those 4 or 5 that you don't want to keep right before Christmas is, or gift them to somebody, whatever your preference is. Yeah. But to hang on to those for a minute, do a couple comparisons. Like last year, Amazon did this or that incentive. This is what people were doing. So take advantage, get creative, guys. There's, more than one video you can do on each item, different perspectives, but there's also comparison videos you can do too. And people are searching for this and that videos all the time on YouTube. Yeah,
it's great. And I'm an Amazon associate for a long time. So, and it's a little rusty here, but another cool thing you can do with Amazon also is you can create a channel. I don't know if it's exactly what it's called, but a channel or something to where everything for YouTube is you have a specific links. Like you can create a specific link to your product that's just for YouTube. If you're doing Instagram, you can do Instagram. That way, when you get a sale, it's exactly from YouTube. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. If you're doing SideStripe, it's not necessarily going to work that way, but there's ways to actually go in and use the functionality you have with Amazon Associates and create your own custom link, or just put it into that sort of under that certain group. So I'd recommend checking that out. Maybe next podcast, or I'll even do something in the Facebook group. I'll kind of talk a little bit more about that because it's a little rusty. I need to kind of show you, maybe do a little video or something like that. But I think that kind of helps because I ask you sometimes, like, you're like, yeah, I've gotten some sales, but sometimes it's not like a certainty as far as like, I made this much from YouTube. I made this much from this one. I made that. So it's good. It's good if you can actually have tracking on those things so you know if something's working or not. The other thing too.
Data is everything.
Yes. And I geek out too because I mean, I love tracking and do all this stuff. I mean, I've been doing stuff like this forever. Like whenever I'm doing for one of my websites, I know exactly where the sales are coming from because I'm using tracking links. So that's really important. And then what was the other thing I was going to say? The other thing I was going to say about that, shoot, hang on. I'm drawing a blank.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I can keep talking here a little bit. So something else, and that keep in mind too, when we're doing these deep links, we're doing the Amazon site stripe links on YouTube. You can link those back to your creator connection campaigns as well. So so if you're getting a YouTube link, they're buying the product and it's something that you've got an active campaign on, you're getting that 10, 15, 20, 30% off the item as well. So grab your own client, grab your own people. If they can buy it that way, that's another income right there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're using YouTube, and just make sure that you list that as one of your websites that you're actually driving traffic to your Amazon Associates, not AIP, but Amazon Associates. There's two different things, right? You have your on-site link and your off-site link. So make sure you do that, because if you don't, you could lose your account. Okay. So you got to be careful with that. So I know I don't want anyone saying, you said just do YouTube. I did YouTube and now I lost my account.
Nope.
That's
you got to do. Yep. Go to the back end where it shows the website list and make sure you get that linked in there, which is it's not a huge deal. I mean, it's just do your due diligence. And I'll be honest, I put it on the offsite. I put it on the offsite and the onsite as well, just to be safe. I know it's not required on the onsite, but there's a spot for it. So I put it in there, but so on my back end, I've got my farm website. I've got my blog website, which I'm not currently doing anything with yet, but I've got both my YouTube channels, my Instagram. I've got all those on there because that way you just never know where you might want to post a link. Make sure those are all on there now and just get it done and over with. And you don't have to just do that on US. You got to do that on Canada. You got to do it on UK. Any other associates program you're doing for another country, you've got to enter that in all separately, just like your tax info.
Yep. Cool. So Mike, we're talking about traditional YouTube videos, I'm assuming at this point, versus shorts. Are you doing any shorts right now? And have you had any success with that as far as views? I know with shorts, it's a little bit more tricky to get to get them to click into your description. When you look at shorts, it's not conducive to that. It's more of a TikTok type thing. With the traditional YouTube video, the non-shorts, it makes it a lot easier, right, to click in the description. Are you using shorts at all for your AIPs?
So two different channels. I got two different things going on for purposes of this podcast. The review channel that I'm doing right now, I've not done any shorts on. That is something that I've got some schedule on. I want to do it. Because here's the thing, on long form, your reviews are not going to get the big push for views like a short will. So long forms are more of a long game. So with that being said, I want to start pushing some shorts because you've got a lot of potential there for something to go viral a lot easier. Not to mention you can increase your following a lot quicker. And I think I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago, me and you were texting back and forth. I had a short going semi viral, not crazy viral, but I've got one pushing 260,000 views right now on my other YouTube channel, which is not reviews, that's my farm content. So in that channel alone, it's just on that one short, I gained like 450 followers on there in the last month. And that's doubled my channel. So I went from 600 something subscribers about a month ago to I think I'm pushing 1,300 right now. And it's in turn has helped my long form stuff out as well. I'm getting more views on those now. So I am very, very, very close to having that channel monetized. I think I'm like 1,000 hours away from having monetization. So nice. Yeah.
So doing a short can really drive subscribers, and subscribers are going to see your long form. So I would say I'm gonna test. I'm gonna start. First of all, I'm gonna get a YouTube channel going. I think I actually already have one. I already have one that's been established with some reviews. I need to start adding reviews to it. I'm gonna test some short form. Some shorts. Test some long form. See what happens. My buddy JB is doing this as well. I'm excited about this, guys. So we're not just talking about it, we're doing this stuff, okay? Obviously, we're doing AIP. That's why we're doing a podcast on it. Now we're going to start doing YouTube. We were doing creator connections. Usually, most of the things we're talking about, we're doing. I'm doing my first Airbnb November 11th. We've mentioned this already. I'll fill you guys in on how that's going, because here's the thing. How much competition is there for Airbnbs? You will never go to the Airbnb that I'm going to November 11th because guess what? There's hundreds of thousands of Airbnbs. And guess what? You live most people don't live where I live either. So I'm telling you guys, this could be something really big. And I'll fill you more on these details. But this is a the kind of thing, if we're doing a course, this is what we do, a deep dive into Airbnbs, okay? Because this could be something huge. But I'm not going to do a deep dive until I've actually done it myself. We did have someone, Michael, his name is Michael, not this Mike, but who was on it and mentioned, I haven't done much Airbnb, but this is what I would do. This is what I've heard about doing it. That was valuable advice. But I think even more valuable is me going and doing it and showing you how it actually does. Is it going to work? Yes or no? I'll have those results hopefully pretty soon. So we're going to start out doing maybe 1 or 2 a month, and then we'll go from there. But there's some promising, just thinking through this quite a bit. There's definitely some, I put it this way, it's a great way to scale with national main name brand products versus what we're doing with the Chinese products. Most of those are not big brands. Those are mostly products that are just no name brands that may or may not sell in the future. So yeah.
Absolutely. So as I said, now's the time. We're both sitting here. What, October 23rd is when we're filming this right now. This will come out on Monday. But November, I'm going to say right now, November 10th is what I'm going to guess is when we'll start seeing sales start kind of picking up for
Yeah.
the Black Friday sales, because they start doing the early sales and everything. So you really need to have any videos that you think are going to do well, or if you just got a good feeling about that item. I'd say try to get those things listed up, and let's get those up before November 10th. Now, obviously, keep going, keep filming all the way through the end of December. But really, I think sales are going to probably increase as long as Amazon doesn't do anything crazy
Yeah.
from November 10th. And then somewhere around December 20th is what I'm going to say is when we start seeing those sales slack off. And that's mainly because by that time, you can't get the item before Christmas. It's not going to get there in time. So you'll kind of see a slack off from December 20th to probably like the day after Christmas. Then there's a little bump again because people go out and buy the things that they didn't get for Christmas for themselves. So they're going to go buy it for themselves. And they've got some sales there after Christmas usually. Depending on what you've sold and what items you had, you're either going to get slammed with returns, especially if it's clothing, or you're going to do well. Last year for me, actually, returns weren't too terrible. It wasn't till mid-January that I started
Yeah.
seeing some returns. But
Right.
the items I have are not things that require sizes and things of that nature. So just keep that in mind. That's really going to deflate. It's probably going to deflate you a little bit, to be honest. When you get after Christmas, those returns hit and it hurts a little bit. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. Some of that stuff's going to fall off. If you got a $6,000 month and you're used to doing $2,000, you might see $1,000 in returns that last week of December going into January. So just kind of preparing you for the worst now, but it's a fun ride nonetheless. November, December is
Yeah.
really cool. It's a really cool ride. So I'd say, you know what? Let's see if we can start wrapping up, do some key points, and kind of reiterate some things. YouTube. Let's see if you're not doing it now. Go ahead and get your channel started. When you get in there, you're going to notice you got to verify identity. There's 2 different ways you can do that. You can basically do like a facial recognition deal and skip all, kind of bypass all the tape. The other way is you can keep uploading. I think you're limited to how many you can do a day. It takes a long time to get that verified if you go the other route. So not telling you what to do. For me, I went ahead and just did like the face verification, and it
Yep.
basically unlocked all the features for me right away, and you're able to go through and do that. I do think there's a limit as to how many videos you can upload in a day still, if I remember right. I don't think I've ever hit it. I think I've uploaded 10 in a day, and it hasn't hit me yet. But
How many subscribers to be monetized? What's the rules for policies for getting monetized?
Okay. So for monetization, for anybody that might be curious about that, let me pull that up for you because there's actually 2 different criteria now that you can hit.
And yeah, and just to define monetization, let's go ahead and explain that as well, because we both know what it is, but that's fine.
So monetize. So
Yeah.
any social media platform that you get on, Facebook, you name it, has what they call monetization once you hit a certain criteria. And what that basically means is you get paid. So a lot of it's going to be a certain percentage or a certain dollar amount, I should say, per 1,000 views, which is how they reference that. It could be anywhere from like $2 per 1,000 views to $8 per 1,000 views. A lot of times, like
advertiser revenue, kind of
exactly.
a
So,
advertiser
and that could
revenue.
vary greatly because if you're someone that does like a lot of kids' toys, advertisers aren't throwing money at that. And number
Yeah.
one, they really can't. So your rate is going to be a lot lower. Now, finance channels seem to make the most.
Yeah.
So because credit cards and all those guys, they throw a ton of money. So if you're doing anything in the finance world, you can get paid. Those typically make a lot more per 1,000 views. So when it comes to monetization, everybody's going to be a little different depending on the platform. I am monetized on YouTube or on Facebook, have been for a little while now. And it's hard to make money on there unless you're seeing million view videos quite regularly. So to give you an idea, I had one video last year go 1 million views. I got paid about $1,000 on that video.
Wow.
And that was on a short. So, I mean, there's money to be made there, but you've really got to hit a good video for it to really make sense. On YouTube, mixed feelings there as well, depending on who you talk to. I know Jim Ed said, it's not real lucrative for him. He's got 14,000 followers, I think, on his channel. And
Who's Jim Ed, by the way?
that one guy that we fired. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
he's not gonna
yeah.
listen to this podcast anyway. So we could talk about him, right?
He's
So
long gone.
he is a gone. But so for monetization on YouTube, let's look at this here. Basically, the first criteria for eligibility, you're looking at if you can get 500 followers and 3,000 hours of watch time, and that's on long form. If you're trying to do short views only, you have to have 3 million views, and that's I think it's in a 90-day period for shorts, and on the watch hours for long form, that's in a year. So it's a rolling 365.
Okay.
So I've hit all the criteria I need for followers. And what that unlocks just for that criteria, just for what we mentioned so far, is you can actually have memberships on YouTube on your account. Fans can engage with you and give you basically like what they call stoopers. It's essentially like they can give you $1, basically. They can show support that way. And then you can actually list your own items on a store. So YouTube's at its own store, but it's not something you can link. It's not drop shipping. You can't do an Amazon item. So like if you've got merch, essentially a lot of YouTubers do the merch stuff. You can link your own merch in that shop, in that store, or if you've got your own handmade items, something like that, you can link those in there as well. No, the next one that they've got on here is that's when you actually get paid for your views, and that's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. As soon as you hit those two things in a year period, you're eligible. You're good. You can sign up and you can start getting those page ads and getting paid for those. So that's what we're looking for. So I've got 2 different channels. One's for my farm content that you guys all know I shoot, and then my second channel. Well, the second one's probably going to take a little longer, but if you keep adding those on, that keeps growing and you keep getting those views, eventually you're going to get monetized on that. It's one more income stream. It's a long game, but if you're getting 20, 30,000 views on a set of headphones that you did a review on, every time that thing, and it's evergreen, and they like, if evergreen meaning that video keeps getting views year after year, it doesn't die off because it's something that was tricky that died off. Yeah, I mean, 3-4 years from now, that might still be getting views because they haven't changed the model on that in 5 years, and that views, it's not only getting you views every time you sell one, but now it's getting viewed every time it's getting viewed. You're getting paid for that as well. So yeah, there's there's so many different ways to get paid on this stuff. It's crazy. It's not going to be overnight. I think we need to get that out of our heads. This is not a get rich overnight scheme. Any of this. I know AIP was kind of spoon fed to me that way when I first started. Was this is going to be the get rich quick, and I had a lot of success early on.
Who said that? Did we tell you that, Mike? Sorry about that.
No, not you guys. Nope. But people were out there saying it, and there was so much money to be made at the beginning because the pool of people was so small.
Right.
But we're not there anymore, guys. You got to put some work into this. So you really got to figure out where you're at. I do some soul searching. That's how we're going to put this. So do some soul searching. Figure out where you are in this whole game. Is it just something you're wanting to buy gifts for the kids for Christmas and it's extra spending money? There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. But it's not going to take the commitment of time as someone like me who's desperately trying to get out of their full-time job. I'm putting everything I have into this, trying to make this work and figure out where else I can squeeze another penny out because I'm on borrowed time. I feel like where I'm at. So figure out where you're at, guys. And I mean, there's so many different ways you can look at this. There's so many different ways you can take this thing. No one way is the only right way. There's no right ways to do this. But I mean, you just got to figure out where you want to be. And if that's the case, you can't compare yourself to me, or you can't compare yourself to Andrew. You got to walk your own path.
Hey guys, value bomb. Mike, this is awesome. Great content. Guys, I hope you guys realize just how much the meaty content we've had today. So really appreciate it, Mike, and that's why you're here, guy. That's why you're here, man. Guy, yeah. That's why Mike is here, guys, because he adds a lot of value. Yeah, we really appreciate everything you said today, and guys, you might need to listen to this one a couple times, but and feel free to ask questions on our AIP group. Okay, so we don't want to just talk about on site. Okay, this future is. I love AIP. Okay. But our group, I'd love for it to transition to more of a UGC group, perhaps. Maybe our podcast will be a little more of a UGC. When I say UGC, user-generated content, guys, that's the big umbrella. And this AIP is like a little thing right underneath UGC. All right, so it's a little thing, but there's so much we can do with this. So YouTube is huge. Let's continue doing that. Let's think of other ways that we can monetize our content, not necessarily like the monetize we were using, but how can we make revenue from one video that we've done? The more money you can make from one video, the better you're going to be off. And I didn't even mention this too much, but I think next time we talk, 2 weeks, I hope you're going to be on there, Mike. I think it'll be great. We might have a
Yeah,
guest as well, but if we have a guest, you'll be on as well.
there we
But
go.
I want to talk about, at least for the first portion, about more about this working with Chinese suppliers, because there's still more, and that's the other side of it, not like how you do it, but more about the downsides of it, which you realize. Talk about this a little bit. The time suck of getting products, trying to figure out how this stuff works. You got to figure out what products that you actually want to use yourself, what products that you're comfortable with. But if you like say, oh, furniture, I can sell this furniture for $300. If you suck at putting together furniture and don't want to do it, I'll do it. I happen to have a wife. Like, I'm watching TV, I'll put together. I even said today, I was like, yeah, you do that a lot faster than I would. She goes, you would be way slower than me, just not a little faster. I'm way faster than you, Andrew. You would really struggle with this. I'm like, okay, fine, great. Thank you for doing this. Thank you so much. She's good at doing that. But if you're good at electronics, awesome. But I'm telling you, some of these things are so like backwards. It's like, how do you do this? But you'll find, unfortunately, the hard way, that you spend a lot more time than you should. I want to talk about that more in detail in a couple of weeks. If you guys, if that sounds interesting, let us know. But I think it's important to kind of get that. And not everyone's there yet either. It's very easy when like they're offering you all this free stuff. Next thing you know, you have 30 products you're going to review, and they're starting to ask you, did you receive it? Did you receive it? Did you receive it? That means, where's my review? You only have a couple weeks to do a review normally before they start getting antsy. So just don't get too excited about this stuff. Make sure, don't bite off more than you can chew, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
just remember that.
And there's something to be said too. I want to choose my words carefully here. I don't want to paint you guys into a box where you're getting into a niche and all you do is hair care products. But if
Yeah,
you've got something that you're more comfortable with, so for me, like I said, it's DIY, it's tools, it's farm stuff. That's my comfort zone.
right,
Anytime I take something that's not in my comfort zone, that video becomes more work to me. Sometimes I dread it. Sometimes I can't find the right words for the video.
right.
Sometimes I don't feel like I'm authentic when I'm doing the video. I'm not saying don't take that product, but if you've taken 10 of those things and they're out of your wheelhouse and you're not really good at them, you could easily spend 10 times more time on that video just because it's not something you're familiar with. Like Andrew just said, he's not good at doing furniture. He's not as handy as maybe I am, where I could throw that together in 10 minutes because I've done it a million times already. It's kind of like Andrew doing a hair care product. He's probably not going to review a brush. There's not much there to brush. You can edit that out. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to take a step. I had to take a step.
I mean,
But
you don't have a ton of hair yourself, my friend.
well, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
And I'm a ginger, so there's that. But
younger
yeah,
than I am. So, but
the
you're
seriously
younger.
though, I mean,
You're younger too.
I just turned 40, and so
You are younger. Yes.
I am younger. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's stuff to be like I said. I just keep that in mind too. I mean, I'm not saying stay in your wheelhouse. Don't go outside of it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always something out there that you can review. There's no problem with that. But it
Right.
does for me. I can't just spin off the cuff and say, oh, this is what this is, and I've never seen this thing before. So, just a little tip: if you're trying to be productive, trying to be efficient, you might consider that.
Awesome. All right, Mike, on that, hey, great podcast. I hope you guys got some value from this. Again, check us out on, obviously, you're listening to our podcast. You know where we are, but our Facebook group, Amazon Influencer, type in Amazon Influencer, type in Side Hustle Heroes. You will find our Facebook group. We're actually doing some TikTok as well. We're doing some TikTok shorts as well. If you want to find us on there, we're trying to build that channel up as well. So give us some love over there as well. I'll share the channel out on our YouTube, our Facebook group, and also in the show notes here. And also, let's share the link to the Genius thing, the Genius
Link.
video. Like, we'll share a link on there as well. And yeah, I think that's great. So, Mike, any other words of wisdom before we kind of call
No,
it?
man, you hit it pretty hit it. I think you're good. Yeah, good feedback, bad feedback. All feedback's good feedback, guys. I mean, be kind. But if there's something we missed the mark on something, let us know. And this podcast is for you. We just want to make sure it's we're hitting the points you guys want to hear. So let us know how we're doing. If there's anything else you want on the podcast included, and we'll see what we can do going forward.
I love YouTube.
I love YouTube. We'll see you, Andrew.